Welcome to Tim's Antique Trains.
Hello everybody. Today I'm going to do a locomotive unboxing. Recently I received a huge pile of American Flyer steam locomotives. These did not arrive in the mail. I actually picked them up locally. And in the box were 6 or 7 or 8 steam locomotives. We'll figure out how many in a minute here. I already have a couple of them out of the box, but we're going to take a look at them and see which ones run and which ones will need some work. First in line on the tracks already is the number 308 Atlantic. And since it's on the main line and plugged in, I'm going to power it up and see if it runs. It'll help if all the wheels are on the track. Yep, that one runs great. Maybe the reverser needs a little bit of work. All right, next in line is number 302. Let's take a look at this one. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. This one has a one-piece boiler. So it is the later variant of the 302. It should also have smoke and choo-choo. Let's see if the 302 powers up or if it will need some servicing. And I'm not getting anything out of the reverse unit or the motor. Looks like this one's going to need a complete overhaul. All right, moving on. I'll put this back on the second track here. We have a 282 Chicago Northwestern Pacific steam engine. This one, well, it's got a few things wrong with it. The tender is in pieces. Reverse unit needs a little bit of work. I can see that. And let's take a closer look at the locomotive. Looks like it's missing the smoke tube in the smokestack. Generally kind of rusty. Oh, look at this. The screw for the drawbar is broken off and it's stuck in there. That will mean a complete disassembly to be able to repair that. Looks like, though all the pieces are here, it is very filthy. It's going to need a complete disassembly and washing to get this back and running. Oh, and this isn't good. This rear driver is separated from the insulator. That will need to be most likely pulled all the way apart, and I don't have a wheel puller to do that, but I would need a wheel puller to separate that to glue that back together. All right, I'll set this one aside and we'll move on. Let's see. Here's a number 293 steam engine. Now this one is also not going to run. The tender needs a repair. We have a separated trailing truck from the locomotive. What else is wrong with this one? It doesn't appear to be in terrible shape. It will need a good cleaning. It's kind of dirty. It's missing the smokestack out of the chimney, or the smoke tube out of the smokestack. It's also missing the bell up here. That's gone. Drivers appear to be in good shape. And the motor looks like it'll be usable once it's cleaned up. And it's missing... oh, it's just missing the screw for the trailing truck. So that one isn't broken. It's just missing. The tender, however, needs a little bit more work. The wheels are filthy. They're caked with grime. And this locomotive actually has the pickup shoes on the tender. I've not seen one of these before. So this is a spring. It's like the diesels have, actually, with a shoe slide along the rails for better contact. This one's probably going to need rewiring. And as you can see, the wheels on the front are missing. They are somewhere in the box. And there's actually the side frame needs to be glued back on. I've been able to super glue those in the past. We'll see how that goes for this one. Okay, we have a number 287 steam engine. Let's see if this one will do anything. First of all, another plastic boiler Pacific with a Chicago Northwestern tender. I'm not sure this one's going to do anything either, but we'll give it a shot and see. We'll go power it up. Ooh, it's trying to. Wow. I was not expecting that to come to life that easily. Alright, I'll go shut it off. I'm actually shocked that that powered up and ran. I was not expecting that to move at all. I thought this was another dead locomotive, but it will get serviced and cleaned up because it's still kind of dirty and gross. This one, so the other Chicago Northwestern Pacific is the 282, which has smoke and choo-choo. This is the 287, which does not have smoke or choo-choo. It's just the motor and headlight, which I thought is rather interesting. I wonder if it even has... Yeah, it looks like the frame could have a smoke unit installed. Might be able to swap parts around and put a smoke and choo-choo in this one. We'll see. I'll have to check and see how originally this came. All right. So I'm missing the drawbar for this locomotive to plug into the tender. This is one of these later model engines with the 5 digits. So this is the 21100 or 21100. I think this one might power up, but I'm not going to run it very far because I am missing the drawbar. I don't really want to pull the tender around with just the wires. Let's see if it'll move at all though. Here we go. So that engine does run. It has one of those 2-position reverse units, which I have found to be extremely finicky. But it does run, so that's good. So out of all of these, we have 3 that run so far. All right, I'll move this aside and we'll take a look at the last couple locomotives here. All right, as you can see, this one is not going to run. This is a K5 style Pacific number 312 with the American Flyer Lines tender. Now, I thought all of the 312s had a separate trailing truck, but apparently some of the later versions of it, or just some of the versions of it in general, had a trailing truck that's attached to the drawbar, in which is the case in this one. So it doesn't look quite as good as some of the other versions of it. This one has a link tender and a fully die-cast tender shell as well. One thing I learned about these tender shells, or these die-cast shells in general, is that they can be very fragile. So be very careful, not just the tender shells, but I found even on some of my metal HO items that if you try to squeeze them or handle them roughly, they will break because the metal is very brittle. Unlike the stamped or the plastic tenders, well, the plastic ones can break too, but these metal die cast zinc tenders, zinc alloy, whatever it is exactly, are very fragile. So you have to be extremely careful when handling shells like this that are over 70 years old. Though this locomotive, I always was interested in getting one of these K5s, and this one has most of the details on the tender. It has the link coupler. It has the, I guess you'd call them reverse lights or marker lights is what these are. They're not active, of course. They don't actually work, but they're just little brass parts there. The truck is separated from the tender frame. I don't know how that happens. I have the same exact problem on my Royal Blue locomotive, and I'm not exactly sure how to get it to stick back together because these, it'll sit in there, but it won't stay. It'll come back out. All right. Yeah, the boiler looks, this locomotive looks like it'll be an excellent runner. Well, no headlamp, I can see. It's going to need to be rewired. I'm not sure what the electrical tape's for. I don't think that's original. We'll get it to work though. I always like these older versions of these engines, the heavy metal ones with the extra details on them and the separate wires. All right, there are two other items that, one is not an American Flyer, and we'll look at it first. This is also not American Flyer. This is a 3-rail, which was in the box, so I said, why not? This is a Marx motor chassis, and it has a smoke unit attached. And I think this is the reverser up here. I don't know if it runs, but I'm sure as simple as these old Marx units are, it won't take much to get it to work again. Interesting design about these Marxes is that they have choo-choo, or at least a puffing smoke. You can kind of see up underneath the smoke unit, that metal plate kind of moves up and down. It's like a squared off version of a piston. And then the smoke unit, so that'll make the smoke puff out, just like the pistons in the Flyer locomotives. Okay, I'm going to put that in this box here. And this is not going to run. It's going to need to be rebuilt. This is a pre-war American Flyer 3/16 scale 3-rail locomotive. That's a tongue twister. I don't think I could say that twice. Number 565 Atlantic. This will need some work to be put back together, but it looks like all the pieces are actually here. There's the front truck assembly, and then there's all of the screws and the side rods in this little bag here. I'm really happy that that came with that. Now, if you didn't notice already, I happen to have 3-rail track on my layout. Shocker. Yep. Well, I don't know if I would be able to find any 3-rail American Flyer track, but since this was found at my local thrift shop, where I found the other train set at the thrift shop, this whole set of 3-rail track was like $3. So I said, why not? So I will have a loop to run my vintage pre-war American Flyer on my American Flyer layout. But that is another project for another time. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video of these 8 American Flyer steam locomotives. They're going to make lots of great restorations in the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Remember to subscribe because it does help my channel, and thanks for watching.